So usually when we start these deep dives, we try to ground you in something familiar. You know, the smell of a coffee shop or the frustration of a slow Wi-Fi connection.
Something relatable.
Exactly. But today, I need to take you somewhere completely different. I want you to close your eyes and just imagine a specific kind of silence.
It's a very expensive silence, isn't it?
Oh, it's the most expensive. Imagine it's the year 2031. You are standing in this sprawling, climate-controlled, ultra-modern mansion.
And you're a tech mogul.
You are the tech mogul. By every metric we have today, you have won the game of capitalism. You are the final boss.
Your balance sheets are pristine. Your profit margins are, what, basically 99% because you've automated away that pesky little line item called payroll.
Right. You have an army of AI agents running your logistics, your coding, your marketing. You don't have to deal with HR. Robots don't take smoke breaks. You have optimized your company to the point of, well, mathematical perfection.
It is the absolute dream of every efficiency consultant from the 2020s, completely realized.
But here's the catch, and this is the image the source material really wants to burn into your brain. You are standing in that silent mansion, looking out, and you're just confused. You're confused because your warehouse is full of products that nobody is buying.
And that right there is the automation paradox.
It feels like a glitch in the simulation. I mean, you did everything right. You cut costs, you boosted productivity, you maximized shareholder value. So why does it feel like the economy is just grinding to a halt?
It's the ultimate task failed successfully scenario.
It is.
And our source material uses this incredible metaphor for it. They describe the economy as a snake eating its own tail, which is, a classic image, but they add a very specific detail.
Oh, this is my favorite part.
The snake is wearing a Patagonia fleece vest, and it just raised another $2 billion in Series D funding.
That image actually made me laugh out loud, but then it made me kind of sad because it just captures that specific Silicon Valley hubris, doesn't it? The idea that we can engineer our way out of fundamental reality.
It really does. It highlights the sheer absurdity of it all. We are talking about a system that is literally devouring the very thing it needs to survive, which is consumers, all while celebrating how efficiently it's chewing.
So that's our mission today. We're going to unpack how this pursuit of perfect efficiency is accidentally breaking the entire machine of capitalism. And I want to be clear, we aren't just talking about robots taking jobs. That's the old conversation.
Right. This is something weirder.
We are talking about money itself losing its meaning.
Yeah, it's less about the robots and more about the who. Who is the economy actually for if no one has a paycheck?
Exactly. So let's start with the math. Because on paper, the logic of automation is flawless. I mean, I went to business school. I remember the charts. Efficiency is good. Labor is a cost. Reduce the cost, increase the profit. It's simple.
And that's been the governing law of business for a century. And it works on a micro level. If you own a shoe factory and you replace 100 workers with a machine that works twice as fast, you, the owner, get rich.
I win. I buy a boat.
You buy a boat. But here's the aha moment, the point where the math just stops mathing. The source material points out, we're shifting from that micro-efficiency to a macro paradox. If every owner replaces their workers,
Who buys the shoes?
who buys all the shoes?
See, this is the part I always get stuck on. Because I can hear the counter-argument already. Well, new jobs will be created. That's the standard line, right? We moved from farms to factories, factories to offices. We always find something new to do.
That is the historical precedent, for sure. But this deep dive suggests that AI is different because of what it attacks. We aren't just replacing muscle anymore. We're replacing cognition.
This is where that Brookings Institution data came in, which was honestly a little terrifying. They're not even talking about truck drivers yet. They're talking about routine cognitive tasks.
Right. And you should think about the entry-level white-collar world. The junior paralegal summarizing documents, the junior coder writing basic Python scripts, the marketing assistant writing ad copy.
The spreadsheet jockeys.
The spreadsheet jockeys. Exactly. These roles are the routine cognitive tasks. And the source makes a critical point here. These jobs are the bottom rungs of the ladder. They're how you learn to be a senior person.
Wait, that's a huge point.
If AI does all that entry-level work instantly and for free, you don't just lose the job, you lose the entire training ground.
Right. If you never write the bad code, you never learn how to architect the big system. It's like trying to become a head chef without ever chopping an onion.
Precisely.
Yeah.
This is what they call the entry-level squeeze. The ladder is literally being pulled up from the bottom. And this creates a massive contradiction. Our economic model relies on a growing middle class with disposable income to buy all the stuff the robots are making.
But the corporate strategy is to systematically eliminate the very jobs that create that middle class in the first place.
So we have a system that is incredibly good at making supply and increasingly bad at sustaining demand.
It's like a bakery firing all the townspeople to save money on payroll, and then acting surprised when the bread just goes stale on the shelves.
And then usually, the bakery blames the townspeople for killing the bread industry.
Millennials are killing the bread industry by being unemployed, of course.
Exactly. But this leads us to the deeper, more philosophical problem the source brings up. And I was surprised by this pivot. It went from hard economics straight to romantic poetry.
Percy Shelley. I did not have Percy Shelley Explains the AI Apocalypse on my bingo card for this deep dive, I'll be honest.
It is unexpected, but it really works. Shelley said, "There is no real wealth but the labor of man."
Okay, play devil's advocate for me here. Because if I'm that tech mogul in 2031, standing in my mansion, I have a number in my bank account that says 1 billion. That feels like real wealth. Why does Shelley think I'm broke?
Because wealth is relational. It isn't just a number, it's a claim on other people's time and effort. The source uses the ghost town analogy here. Imagine you have $1 billion, but you're the only person left on Earth.
I can't buy any.
You can't buy a latte. You can't hire a contractor to fix your roof. You can't pay a doctor to fix your leg. Your $1 billion is just paper. It has zero value because there is no labor to command.
So if we automate everything, and this is the extreme end of the thought experiment, and nobody have a job, then nobody has income. And if nobody has income, my $1 billion is just a high score in a video game that nobody else is playing.
It becomes completely meaningless. Wealth requires exclusion. It requires that I have something you don't and that you were willing to do something for me to get it. If everyone is just locked out of the economy, the whole hierarchy collapses.
The source brought up that banana art piece, the one taped to the wall to explain this.
The Maurizio Catalan piece sold for $120,000.
Which is, I mean, it's objectively insane. It's a banana. It costs 30 cents at the grocery store.
But that's wealth in a vacuum. It proves that value is social. You aren't paying for the potassium. You are paying for the status of being the person who can waste 120 grand on a joke. You're paying for the hierarchy.
And if you destroy the middle class, if you destroy the people who can't afford the banana, then the billionaire has no one left to impress.
Exactly. You're just the richest guy in the server room. It's a hollow victory.
Okay, so the philosophy checks out. Wealth needs people. But let's get back to the timeline, because the source material was terrifyingly specific about when all this happens. It didn't say in the distant future. It gave us dates.
It did. It outlines a transition dystopia happening between 2026 and 2035, and it breaks it down into 3 distinct phases.
Let's walk through them, because I want to know where we are right now.
We are squarely in phase 1, the profit surge. This is the now-ish phase.
Describe the vibe of phase 1.
The vibe is confusing. On one hand, you have massive layoffs in tech, in media. You hear about AI agents doing the work of 10 copywriters. But on the other hand,
corporate profits are at record highs. Stock markets are rallying.
Exactly. Because the costs are dropping. If you just look at the P&L statement, everything is green. Executives are getting bonuses because they optimize the workforce.
The shareholders are popping champagne.
But the people getting fired, they aren't just disappearing. They're just waiting.
And that leads to phase 2. The consumer crunch.
Which the source predicts is coming in the next couple of years. This is when the lag time catches up. Severance packages run out. Savings drain away. The people who lost those routine cognitive jobs just stop spending.
They stop buying new cars. They cancel the Netflix subscription. They stop going out to dinner.
And the economy is a circle. Right. One person's spending is another person's income. When the fired copywriter stops buying coffee, the coffee shop eventually fires the barista. It spirals.
And here is the tragedy of the commons part. When sales drop, what do the companies do?
They panic. They say, oh no, revenue's down. We need to protect our margins. So they automate more. They cut costs even deeper.
They double down on the very thing that is killing them.
They hit the gas pedal while heading for the cliff. Which brings us to phase 3. The paradox hits, sometime around 2028 to 2032.
And what does that look like?
It looks like a world where we have incredible productive capacity. We can 3D print houses, we can generate movies instantly, we can manufacture goods for pennies, but revenue collapses because the customer base has evaporated.
But wait, I have to ask the obvious question. Can't the rich just keep the economy going? The so-called 1% problem? If I'm a billionaire, I spend a lot of money.
You spend a lot, but you don't spend broadly. And this is a crucial distinction. A billionaire might buy a $50 million yacht. That keeps the yacht builder in business. But they do not buy 50 million tubes of toothpaste.
Right. They don't buy 10,000 Honda Civics.
Mass production, which is the entire basis of our industrial economy, requires mass consumption. You need millions of people buying jeans, phones, and sandwiches. A few thousand rich people buying Picassos just cannot sustain the global supply chain.
So the math breaks, the philosophy breaks, the timeline is scary. But this is where the source material takes a turn that I found absolutely delightful.
Well, this is my favorite irony in the whole stack.
It introduces the concept of the involuntary socialists. It is delicious. Because think about the demographic we are talking about here. The tech titans, the Silicon Valley elite. Generally speaking, these are not people who love big government.
No, they love the free market, deregulation.
Yeah.
They want the government to stay out of the way and let them disrupt things.
But the source argues that these exact people, by pursuing hyper-capitalism to its logical endpoint, are forcing the creation of socialism.
They're backing themselves into a corner where socialism is the only way their business can possibly survive.
Explain the mechanism. How does a libertarian tech bro accidentally build a welfare state?
Okay, so follow the money. You have a fully automated company. You have no employees. You have products to sell, but no one has money to buy them. Your stock price is tanking because revenue is zero. What is the only solution?
You have to get money into people's hands so they can give it back to you.
You need a customer. And since you won't hire them, the government has to create them for you. Enter Universal Basic Income, or UBI.
So the government steps in. They tax the robots or the automated company profits, and they redistribute that cash to the people.
And the people take that government check and go buy the iPhone 25.
It's a money laundering machine. The company pays the tax, the government washes it, gives it to the citizen, and the citizen hands it right back to the company.
The free market becomes a total fiction. It becomes this subsidized loop just to keep the inventory moving.
It's like training for an Ironman marathon and accidentally stumbling into a yoga retreat. You sprinted so hard, you ended up in a place of total stillness.
And the billionaires will hate it.
Yeah.
They will kick and scream about it. But they will eventually lobby for it. Because the alternative is bankruptcy. That's the involuntary part. They aren't doing it out of kindness. They're doing it to save the simulation.
That is a staggering thought.
Yeah.
That the savior of the social safety net won't be a labor union or a left-wing politician, but a panicked venture capitalist who just needs someone to buy a subscription.
History has a wicked sense of humor.
Okay, so let's say we get there. Let's say the involuntary socialists win. We get UBI, nobody starves, the robots do the work, we all get a monthly stipend to exist. We've reached the Star Trek future. Money is solved. Are we happy?
Welcome to the bonus round. The source calls this the existential void.
Of course, because we can't just have a nice, simple, happy ending.
Well, humans are complicated. The source asks a really deep psychological question. If you remove scarcity and struggle, what happens to meaning?
If I don't have to work to survive, why do I get out of bed in the morning?
Precisely. And for the billionaires, it's even worse. If everyone has their basic needs met and status goods become meaningless because AI can generate anything for anyone, how do you keep score?
If I can't be better than you by having a bigger house, what do I do?
So the source suggests two paths. Path one is the Renaissance. We all become artists, philosophers, gardeners. We pursue meaning through creation. We make things because we want to, not because we have to.
That's the optimistic view, the Star Trek view. Picard reading Shakespeare in his vineyard.
And path two is nihilism. The removal of struggle removes the dopamine loop. We just stop trying. We drift.
The Wall-E view. Floating in chairs, drinking distinctively flavored sludges.
And for the current winners of capitalism, this is a nightmare. They're driven by competition. They're driven by the win. If you declare that everyone wins, the game isn't fun for them anymore.
It's like winning a gold medal, but they mailed one to everyone in the audience, too.
Exactly. Congratulations, you're the best. Just like everyone else.
So zooming out, this is a lot. We've got the math failing, the timeline crunching, the ironic socialism, and the existential dread. Where does this leave us today? Because we are in 2026. We're in the car.
We are in the car and we can all see the wall. The source calls this a tragedy of the commons, but specifically for market incentives.
Explain that for me. Tragedy of the commons is usually about sheep, right?
Right. If everyone lets their sheep graze as much as they want on the shared land, the grass dies and all the sheep starve. It's in your individual interest to let your sheep eat, but it's in the collective interest to stop.
So in this case, the grass is the consumer market.
Yes, every individual CEO looks at their P&L statement and says, if I automate this department, my stock goes up next quarter. They are rationally incentivized to fire the
But
humans.
if every CEO does it,
They destroy the pasture. They destroy the disposable income that makes the entire economy possible.
but no single CEO can stop. If I say, I'm going to keep my human workers because it's good for society, my competitor just automates, undercuts my prices, and I go out of business.
Exactly. You're trapped. You have to drive toward the cliff because the quarterly earnings report demands it.
It's a prisoner's dilemma where the price for defecting is that we all go broke just slightly later than the other guy.
It is the most expensive task failed successfully in human history. We are sprinting toward the cliff with our eyes wide open.
Because the incentives are misaligned with survival.
We are building a machine that is so efficient it eliminates the entire purpose of the machine.
That is heavy, but also weirdly clarifying. It explains why everything feels so tense right now.
It does. We are in the friction phase. The gears are grinding.
So if I'm listening to this and I'm feeling that anxiety, maybe I'm that junior copywriter or maybe I'm the manager trying to hit a target. What do I do with this info?
I think you have to look at the system, not just the tech. Don't just ask, what can AI do? Ask, who gets the value? And realize that we are heading for a huge structural shift. The rules of the game are about to flip.
The game of work hard, get paid is changing into something else entirely.
It has to. Or the game ends.
Well, on that note, I feel like we should probably go buy something, just to do our part.
Keep the velocity of money moving.
Exactly. I'm going to go buy a coffee from a human.
Pass the champagne while there's still someone around to pour it.
Cheers to that. And thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. We will see you or your digital twin in the next one.
Take care.